What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're checking out some more r/AmI, the butthole. Sun is out, it's just a beautiful day outside, and I am feeling great. And I've totally lost track of where I was going with that. But anyway, thank you for spending 20 minutes or so out of your day listening to a story or two with me. It really does mean the world. And with that being said, let's crack on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from OKSky3988. Am I the arsehole for setting boundaries between my daughter and my ex-husband's partner? My ex-husband Dan and I have a 10-year-old daughter, Emily. We divorced 8 years ago after Dan came out as gay and he effectively left me for one of his friends from work, Jim. They didn't have an affair, but there were definitely feelings there before we separated. They now live together. I remarried 4 years ago to my husband Nick. Dan and I share custody of Emily pretty much 50-50. One source of tension has been Emily's relationship with Jim. Dan, Nick, and I all come from a very conservative Christian backgrounds, whereas Jim is from a very left-wing Jewish Italian family. Emily has always been something of a free spirit, and she and Jim get on like a house on fire. She and Nick have a good relationship, but Nick is more of a typical stepfather. She respects Nick, but she's obsessed with Jim. She's always wants to be doing what he's doing. She's developed a bad habit of walking around the house without shoes or socks because he does. She only eats her eggs hard-boiled because that's how he eats them. She always talks about how funny he is. I had to put my foot down last year when she started calling Dan and Jim her dads, but didn't call Nick her dad. It all came to a head last month when she came home from a week at theirs and proudly showed us some of the Italian that Jim has been teaching her. It turns out that she asked him to teach her Yiddish and Italian. I asked her why, and she said that not only was it fun to have secret conversations with Jim, she was the only child who could carry it on. This really annoyed me because she isn't Jim's child and she doesn't have ancestral language to carry on. Our family only speaks English and always has. I also felt like this made a relationship with Nick even more unequal as he doesn't have another language to teach her and bond with her over. I immediately phoned Dan and expressed that I felt Jim was stepping over the line and getting too involved. Dan got uncharacteristically angry at me. He said that if I had a problem with Emily being closer to Jim than Nick, then it was up to Nick to build his relationship with Emily, not up to Jim to tear his down. I said that Nick couldn't do that as he didn't get to just be the fun parent like Jim does, because Nick has to be the only father figure in the household, whereas Jim can just be Emily's friend. Dan told me that I was being ridiculous and accused me of being homophobic, which is ludicrous. He must have said something about it to Emily as she stopped talking about Jim in our house, which I'm glad about, but she's been very frosty with us. Nick has tried to get her involved in things they can do together, but she's not showing any interest. I feel like I did have to say something, but I'm worried I went over Nick's head and made things worse and should have left him to handle it. I just want Jim to stop overstepping. Now, I might come out as like an arsehole in this one, but to me, as I was reading it, and that's what I always base it on, is like the feelings I'm getting as I'm reading it, and it just felt like pure jealousy coming out because it sounds like Jim is actually doing her some good, you know, teaching her new languages and things like that. Surely this has got to be a positive. Just be happy that there's someone else in the world, in another house that she goes to, who loves and cares and teaches her new things. Stop being jealous. Stop being resentful for it. Open up the conversation with your daughter on how she can bond with Nick if she chooses to, and how they can build their relationship better. Your daughter sounds like a mature person who would, I imagine, would go down that route and would be happy to as well. But, you know, I'm just reaching out there, so I don't know totally. But Type 1 Error says, cut the crap about overstepping his bounds. This is your real issue. And quotes, Dan, Nick, and I all come from very conservative Christian backgrounds. And then says, Jim is showing an interest in your daughter. She seems to enjoy him and love spending time with him. In other words, your daughter is happy and has another adult in her life who cares about her. If you really cared about your daughter, you'd be happy for her. You may call yourself a Christian. There is nothing Christ-like about your behavior. And the next comment comes from Work Hard Jim Harder. You're the arsehole. I don't understand at all why walking around the house without shoes or socks is a bad habit. In quotes, she always talks about how funny he is. And then says, oh, the horror. Great that she's comfortable calling Jim and Dan dad. Not sure how this would be a bad thing or Jim's fault. You say she respects Nick, but if she's not seeing him as a father, then that's on him to sort out and change the dynamic. It's not reasonable to expect everyone to step back and do less. He's teaching her a second language. Wow, what an amazing skill that will benefit her throughout her life. I wish I had someone to teach me a second language at a young age. And then quotes again saying she isn't Jim's child, and then says not biologically, but he is a huge part of her life. Would you be annoyed if Nick was teaching her a second language? Jim has a fatherly role in this young girl's life. Well done for trying to prevent that. Stop being jealous, she likes daddy's partner more than mummy's. And the disciple Matt says, you're the arsehole. I can't believe it. Wow, the arrogance of Jim. Opening your daughter to new foods, new languages. God, what is next? Will he help her find new passions and explore new areas of interest? That bastard. You need to grow up, like seriously. It has been 8 years of that man in her life and has probably earned the trust of her enough to call him dad. Why don't you ask Nick to step it up and start being a stepfather who one day may earn that right instead of pissing all over Jim? And then there was a reply to this, which I just gotta read. It says, it's from Reddit user who says, wow, the arrogance of Jim, opening your daughter to new foods. And then Reddit says, not just any foods, but hard-boiled eggs. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Comprehensive Spare 55. Am I the arsehole for confiscating my daughter's phone over a TikTok prank? Oh god, it's TikTok again. Here we go. Long story short. My daughter, 15 female, and a friend decided to play a very cruel prank on the friend's 8-year-old sister. Basically, my daughter hid in the closet filming for TikTok while the friend called the sister in and pretended to cry and told her she had gotten news that their parents had just been killed in a car accident. Getting the reaction, then telling her it's not true. Needless to say, the friend's sister did not take it well, even after being told the truth, and the parents contacted me. I was absolutely disgusted, especially considering the intention was to humiliate her on TikTok. So in addition to grounding her, I took her phone away and replaced it with an old one of mine that I locked down, so it can't do anything besides make and receive phone calls, take pictures and send texts, basically equivalent to an old style flip phone. That happened about a month ago. My daughter's grounding recently expired and she asked me when she gets her phone back. I told her when you can afford to buy your own, since her phone was what she used for it. I don't see any reason why she should be able to access such apps. She complained to my husband. He told me that he agrees she shouldn't get her phone back now, but that maybe I'm being a bit too harsh since confiscating it until the end of the school year, for example, would still send the needed message. So I told my daughter I consider it based on her behaviour, but she's still banned from TikTok regardless. Well, she threw another tantrum. Truth is, I'm just so disgusted how she would do such a thing. And such abuse of an app means you don't get the app anymore, and it seems fair. Now she's given me the silent treatment. Obviously this won't help in getting the phone back. So am I being too harsh or unreasonable? I get how important such phones and apps are now to teens' social lives, but I really can't let something like that go unaddressed. Oh god, TikTok again. Here we go. Yeah, but that's just absolutely cruel and horrific to do to someone. An 8-year-old. This person's 15. They know better than this. So absolutely not the arsehole in the situation. The fact that they're giving you the silent treatment just shows that they haven't learned anything in this situation so far. I always have to think, like, what are those two people thinking when they do this? What are they thinking that person's going to feel? How can you not have empathy for someone when you're just about to tell them that their parents have died? As a joke. How can you think that's the right thing to do? I can't compute it. It's so bizarre. But PBC says not the arsehole. The prank was terrible to begin with, but pulling that on an 8-year-old is horrific. You should get your daughter into therapy to help understand why she thought that would be funny. And Ab says not the arsehole. She traumatized an 8-year-old. That child may need therapy. You're a good parent by helping her understand the severity of what she did. And Redditor says, not the arsehole, she literally posted an 8-year-old on TikTok for the whole world to see. She can't control whether she wants to be on camera or not, and telling someone that their parents died is just cruel. As long as she can still text her friends and stuff, that's enough. She doesn't deserve to have TikTok. And Hazy Hazel says, not the arsehole, 15 is old enough to know better. That poor little girl. And Potential says, not the arsehole, that's not a prank, that's cruel. Contrary to popular teenage belief, a phone isn't something that they're entitled to. She's lucky she got a lockdown one that allowed texting at all. In my day, we were lucky to get texting because it was an add-on that most parents didn't think we could handle. I also saw phones taken away until you can buy yourself a new one, over a lot less. One girl lost her phone, and when she told her parents they bought a new phone, and they gave it to her younger brother and told her she could only have one again when she could pay for it herself. That was in May. In September, I suggested she go and ask the office, thinking maybe it got found in the school over the summer, and sure enough, it had been found in her locker, just tucked away in the crevice that was so hard to see or reach that most of us didn't even realise was there. That night, she ran home brandishing her phone and asked them to please reactivate it. They told her no. She'll live. Tell her to go get a job if she wants a new phone, even if it's just babysitting. She's more than old enough to accept responsibility for her actions. And one more for inconceivable saying info, does your daughter feel genuine remorse, or is she just remorseful of getting in trouble? Does your daughter understand that it's incredibly inappropriate in any situation to post videos featuring children on the internet without their parents' approval? Does your daughter understand that posting videos online of anyone without their consent is wrong? And OP does reply to this saying she did apologise and admits it was very stupid, but I think more in a sense of it was really stupid to do that knowing what would happen to me, and not that's a very terrible thing to do. She also claims that it was her friend's idea and she was initially reluctant, but frankly, even if that's true, that is not an excuse. Now, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from Throw Icy Hist. Am I the arsehole for telling my dad that my stepmom deserves every penny she has gotten? So my 27 male stepmom, 53 female, has been in my life since I was 1 year old. My mum dropped out of my life when I was 3 months old, and I've never met her. My dad, 51 male, started a business when I was 10, and my half-siblings were 5 and 8. My stepmom would take care of us when we got home from school, and then work 6 to 8 hours a day for my dad's business. I remember her going out to distribute marketing materials, driving out with him to trade shows, doing his accounting into the early hours of the morning, and filling in the blanks for employees who either quit or were absent in some way. Basically, she worked close to full time and she would only take $1 a year because she wanted my dad to put her would-be salary back into the business. When his business started turning a large profit when I was 16, she worked more part-time but still never took a salary. But I feel like what she added emotionally to my siblings and I was worth more than she could have been paid in a full-time, skilled job because my dad was distant and a difficult person. However, 2 years ago, they suddenly split up. My dad moved out, but then my stepmom still worked part-time for free, but mostly staying at home. But my dad, we all thought, was also close to being semi-retired. At the end of their divorce, my stepmom got 50% of my dad's business. My dad is absolutely furious. He called the system unfair, said this was a tax on his hard work that deters further innovation from him, and that my stepmom didn't build his business. She merely stepped back and allowed him to do so. Every time he comes over to my house or comes to events for any of his 3 kids, he's angry. His greatest hits of complaints include, your stepmom took herself out of the workforce and that's her fault. What has she ever done to get free money? The final straw was when yesterday he complains that his girlfriend, 25 female, yells at him every day over the fact that my stepmom is basically a business partner now, and that if I was able to work 70 hours a week 16 years ago, she should be able to do the same at Walmart for the next 20 years. I finally snapped and said that until he can bite his tongue about my stepmom, I didn't want him coming over anymore. I also told him that in my opinion, my stepmom deserves every penny she's getting, and if I were the judge, I would have given her all that and more. Am I the arsehole for being fed up? Now clearly, this post shows how much your stepmom has done for you, how much time and effort she's put into your lives, and everything she was doing for the business as well, so clearly she deserves that, what she's got and more, like you say. She sounds like an absolutely amazing person. Time into the business for her husband, breaking her back for her husband, whilst looking after the kids as well, whilst he didn't, he just focused on the business full time. And, you know, she just sounds amazing, so well done for you for sticking up for your stepmom. Absolutely not the arsehole in this situation to me. But Owl City says not the arsehole at all. I'm glad you stood up for your stepmom and that she's a big part of your life. And Purple Jaeger says not the arsehole. This lady not only looked after his children as a mother, but also worked at the company for essentially free. This is one of those times I'm glad the courts weighed so heavily in her favour against the entitled arrogance of your father. Kudos for having a spine and sticking up for her. And Book Reader says not the arsehole, your entire post was explained right here, and quotes his girlfriend, 25 female. And Snoo Donut says not the arsehole, she invested her whole adult life into the company, while taking care of the kids that weren't even hers. She sounds like an amazing human being. And DC Now CLT says, not the arsehole, she not only contributed to the business, she also stayed home and raised his kids while he was working, which was presumably a joint decision. I'm sick of men thinking that women are the automatic parent. She deserves every cent. Also, seriously side-eyeing the fact that your dad's girlfriend is less than half his age and younger than one of his kids, she most definitely doesn't get a vote on whether your stepmom should get part of the business. I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with the broke. And now I turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of the situation and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for telling my stepsister that I don't want her to come to my house anymore? A few months ago, my 24 female husband gave me a beautiful necklace when our son was born. The necklace was made especially for me and is really special to me. The point is that since my son was born, my mother, 44 female, comes to visit me more often, and my stepsister, 15 female, comes with her. And I like when she comes because she's really good with the kids and my son loves her, but I don't like her curiosity. She's a really curious girl and she touches absolutely everything as if she was 3 years old. Sometimes she likes to check on my closet, and if there's something she likes that I don't use, I give it to her since we are both very thin and most of my clothes fit her. But she knows she can only touch my closet and nothing else. I never gave her permission to touch anything else from my room. Some days I take off the necklace my husband gave me because our son is growing up and he likes to pull it and I don't want him to break it. So sometimes I forget that I took it off and leave it in the jewelry box for days. Yesterday I wanted to use it, but the necklace wasn't in my jewelry box, and I know that if the necklace disappeared it was because my mother or stepsister took it. So I called my mum and asked her if any of them had taken my necklace by mistake, and she said no, and sounded really convincing to be honest. But I can't say the same for my stepsister, because when I asked her if she took it, she started accusing the cleaning lady. But we trust her and I know she would never do something like that. She has worked for my husband for more than 15 years and she's like family. She would never steal anything. So I told her that if she took it, that she shouldn't lie, that I could buy her a similar one, but that one was really special to me and I wanted her to give it back to me. And she gave it back to me and told me that she took it because she wanted to wear it to school and show it to her friends because it's really beautiful necklace, but that Monday she was going to give it back to me. I told her that what she did was wrong and that I don't want her to come by my house anymore until she learns not to take my things without permission. And my mum told me that I was overreacting, that she was going to give it back anyways, that she wasn't going to keep it forever. But I don't feel that what I told her was wrong. She took something without permission and I don't trust her anymore. Am I the arsehole for banning her from coming to my house? Nah, someone comes over to your house and they try to steal something from you. Absolutely you have. And the girl is 15, so she does know better than this, and she was trying to steal it to show off to her friends. Was she going to give it back? I don't know. But another big part of this is that she went and blamed the cleaning lady. She could have got someone else fired with her lies. And that just shows the way she was thinking in that particular situation. And I think that's almost unforgivable in some situations. I know sometimes people make mistakes and things like that, but at this particular moment, I really wouldn't want her around my house until she earned my trust back at least. And we'll start off with AITA Banana saying, not the arsehole. I think the most upsetting part of this story is that the sister tried to pin her crime on the innocent cleaning lady. Let's let that marinate for a second. If Opie had believed her, the poor woman would have lost her job and possibly had a visit with the police, and who knows where that would have ended up. Implicating innocent people is an inexcusable offence. Disgusting. And Drunk on Martini says, not the arsehole, and quotes, and my mum told me that I was overreacting, that she was going to give it back anyway, that she wasn't going to keep it forever, and then says, and this is how you raise a criminal. Way to go, mum. And Unusual Teapot says, not the arsehole. The part that really upset me was that she tried to blame it all on an innocent person and could have cost them their job. And Patio Living says, not the arsehole, she stole from you, but I'm a little weirded out you married a man older than your own mother. I hope you were safe. And Azure Maglet says, not the arsehole, she stole from you. She said she was going to bring it back now that she was caught. What if she hadn't been caught? If she just wanted to borrow it, she would have asked permission, especially considering you let her borrow/have stuff all the time. Probably if you ever let her come back over, she should also lose closet privileges. And Broken Nail says, not the arsehole, your sister stole from you, lied to you, and tried to blame someone else. Barring her from your house until she improves is a reasonable response. 15 is old enough to learn about consequences along with everything else. I don't know why your mother is trying to downplay this, but in doing so she is being an arsehole to both of you. If she's not going to teach your sister better, eventually someone else will, and if your sister's unlucky, the lesson will come with criminal charges. There's no guarantee the lesson you're teaching will stick or that your mother will twist it around, but you're doing the right thing. And zoned out cat says, I'm not going to get downvoted for this, but you all who keep getting stuck on the age difference need to fuck off. OP isn't being abused just because her husband is older than her. She's happy and they are not hurting anyone, and it's not like she's 17 or 18. Leave it alone and focus on the question she's actually asking instead of bothering her about their ages. Jeez. And now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys think of this situation and how would you deal with it? Let me know in the comments below because I love to hear them. And once again, guys, thank you for being here today. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know I say it every time, but time is so important, and I'm ever so thankful that you spend it with me, listen to a story or two. It means the absolute world. And some of you have been asking about the podcast and it's disappeared and it has been updated since March, whenever. And I am well aware of this. I'm currently changing over provider. It'll still be on the same platform, Spotify and all that kind of thing, but it's just changing over who actually puts it out there at the moment because I was having some issues with the previous one, so I need to get that fixed, which I will be doing this week. It's on the list. It's on the list about midway, okay? Thank you so much for your love, support and time, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.
I got food up in the fridge. Y'all keep looking for that new way. I think I like it how it is.